Kristen, you first. How would you advise if Donald Trump and Elon Musk together came to you and said, Kristen, what could we do better as a pair? What would you say they could do better?
Well, first, I tell them they're doing a great job because I do think in the first 3 weeks, it's been, um, I haven't seen anything in my lifetime. I think you probably have to go back to, FDR era to see this rapid pace of action and movement and executive orders. So acknowledge that. But when you look towards, the future and what's happening, and, one of the things that really isn't being talked about enough is the success that the Trump administration is having on immigration and the border. I mean, by far, this was a top. You could argue it went back and forth between the economy and immigration over which was the top issue in the election, but definitely top two. And they have moved at such a rapid pace and been so successful with, securing the border, decreasing illegal crossings, deporting criminals, that because there are so many things happening, we the first week you saw things pop up on Twitter and people talk about it, but really hasn't been a consistent week to week celebration. And it should be, because, that is one area that frankly right now has support across all the parties. It's not just a Republican issue. It's a Republican and a Democrat issue now. And they're really, really delivering on what President Trump said he was going to do. So if there was one thing I would say, it's, maybe take a trip down to the border, meet with some border agents, highlight that again, because there really isn't, it's hard for Democrats, to give Democrats or the opposition an inch on that. You could go back and forth where Democrats can parse on cuts and how things are being handled, but no one is really going to criticize what's being done in terms of immigration right now, because it's bipartisan right now. It was such a big issue, and they're delivering at such efficient speed that I would say let's bring that up a little bit more, because that's getting pushed to the bottom with everything else that's going on.
Citizen Hogan, what's something that Elon Musk has done that you like, that you think is great for America?
I don't know that it's something that I think is great for America. So I'm going to start by saying maybe I'm not answering your question. So it's great to be back.
Yeah.
Is that I think what he has done very well, and what Republicans have done very well, is to pick little individual line items that costs $20,000 to $1 million in a budget, and to blow it up and to make it seem like, as a result of something you not liking existing in the federal bureaucracy, that you should tear and burn the whole thing down. I think they are generally overreaching at this point, and we're in the sowing and reaping phase, and we are starting to see come to fruition some things like cuts at USDA that have had to be reversed because of dealing with pandemic, bird flu, or having to hire back people who work with nuclear weapons. And him taking a chainsaw up on at CPAC and everything is like it's strong imagery for what he's doing. And he's done a good job selling. I think that there's a lot of waste in government, but I think the longer this goes on, the more people are going to start to feel impacts from this. There's polling out this morning about, what agency would you want cut the most? And at the top of the list is DOGE. So, they're doing an okay job. But I think people are going to get sick of it pretty quickly when they start feeling real impacts.
Tim, I take to heart everything you said, and I know on balance you don't like the way this is being handled, and you think they're setting themselves up for problems. But is there anything he's done that you think that's good? That's good public policy?
Not honestly, the answer is no, just based on the process. Like there's a way to, and I don't say that, lightly. Like I would like to find something that I like about this process. I think it is incumbent for Democrats to say that there's waste in the federal government, that we should go through and cut things that are waste, fraud, abuse, and fat. But the process has been so chaotic, and I think there has been so much disinformation around some of this, like charts that go around on social media about how many people who are 360 years plus are getting Social Security payments. That's not accurate information. Those are maybe people in a system who are not marked false as dead, but they are not getting those actual payments. Those checks are not going out. So while I think there is a goal there, I mean, like, look, President Obama talked about efficiency in government, and like a fish is categorized in a lake or a stream or a pond, and different agencies have jurisdiction over them. I think there is bipartisan value there, but the way that this is being presented, it's hard for me to say there's anything that I find appealing.